Alright, on to painting the Joker, Frank Gorshin, with our unfortunately faced Moebius model kits. So, obvious color we have to work with here is green. Whole lot of green. We have the green suits, which we're going to deal with first. There are, of course, other areas of green. We have the tie, which we're going to do a slightly different shade of green, just so it looks slightly different. But that will be green as well. We're going to do that same color on the gloves, which are green. When he's not wearing the suit, they're purple, but with the suit, they're green. Hat is black. Dress shirt is black. And shoes, I still have to double check on what color are the shoes. But starting off with the blazer and the pants, green, as I said, and I'm going to start with a dark color. We're going to start with some black green, and we got this done over a, unfortunately, Vallejo primer, which I forgot I shouldn't have used because I had to go back, you know, do one primer coat and then do a little bit of sanding and check for gaps, and I forgot. Shouldn't have done that because Vallejo does not sand well, so it took a little bit more fixing than necessary. So we're starting with the black green because I like to still work from darkest to lightest, even when airbrushing, even though that's not the most ideal way to airbrush. It's still what I'm comfortable with. So we're going to do a light coat of this. This color is mainly just going in the recesses, and this will help me determine what the final base coat color will be. For our second color, we are using Vallejo Deep Green. Still a little bit too dark, but I'm working my way up, trying to figure out what is the best shade to use. And you can see how dark that black green came out, because the more of it you spray, the darker it gets over that, even though it's over a very light primer color. And I'm going to spray this slightly in a downward fashion. I'm getting it into the recesses as well because, again, don't know exactly where I'm stopping yet. So I want to get it into some of those recesses, and you can see we're getting a bit closer now to what should be the proper color. So the exact color of the suit is a little bit up for debate because this is a program that's how many years old? 50 years old or something like that. So the exact shade of green is kind of hard to tell. Looking at the original footage, it looks like kind of this green would be pretty accurate. Someone did send me some photos of the suit that in its current state, because it still exists, and it looks like a very, very light lime green, though there could be fading over the years. The point is, it's kind of hard to get this wrong or kind of hard to get it right, depending on how you want to look at it. But we are continuing to get a little bit closer. With the deep green, I'm mixing in some Scorpio Green, about a 50-50 mix. And this is getting a bit closer on the ball. The other thing I have to keep in mind is lighting, because I got new LED lighting for my my airbrush booth here, and it's actually a different temperature than the lighting at my desk. So I have to keep running back and forth to check it. And I'm not sure how it's going to appear on camera at all. But this color we're being a little bit lighter on now, you can see it's slowly working our way out. Of course, the more layers that I add, the lighter in tone it's going to get. But I think we're almost there. For the final color, I was going to go with just straight Scorpio Green, but that seemed just a little bit too light, at least for the color that I already put on. So this is almost pure Scorpio Green. I got a little bit of the deep green mixed in still, basically just what was ever left in the pot. And I got the pressure down way low on the airbrush, and I'm trying to do this kind of as a heavy final highlight. Going from the top down and just lightening it up. And then once it dries, I'll determine if this is far enough, and if not, I'll go back and we'll add one more layer. We have reached the fun part of the kit. Good lordy. We got some 100+ question marks to apply. Already did the pants, and yeah, that was a project. That took a couple days just to get these all on. So let me start off by saying, yes, there is a masking set for this. If you choose, and I made the foolish mistake thinking the decals would be easier. It's by Aztec Dummy. You can get it for 15 bucks. And I haven't had much luck with Aztec Dummy, so I went with the decals included in the kit instead. So if you go the decal route, problem you're going to face is there's no real guide in the instructions at least as to where exactly to put them. So that's the problem. You can watch the show, and I got an idea of roughly how they were, and still when you're actually applying them though, it's a bit more difficult than just copying the costume. And on the legs, I went with, it's I believe 7 down and 7 around, and trying to get them all even is the real hard part. I think I may have actually applied too many. And that's the other concern, is if I run out before I'm done with the whole kit, what the hell am I going to do then? Because like I said, they don't tell you how many to put on. So I'm hoping there's plenty of extras. I'm already halfway through, and I just finished the pants. So hopefully there's enough to do the jacket. I think I did put them a bit too dense. So if you're following along, you may want to do it a little bit less. At least leave more space up and down. And the problem is trying to get it around to balance it, because it's a staggered pattern, and of course you want it to match. And I did an okay job on the legs, on this leg. On this one, I started running out of space because I didn't place them right, so I got a kind of a dead spot. Fortunately, I planned it so it was at the part of the leg you really don't see very well. Also, the other thing to keep in mind, since this is plastic and not cloth, the folds aren't as deep as they would be on cloth. So when you're doing the pattern, as I get up here, the space gets a little bit wider. So what I suggest doing is starting off at the bottom and do a staggered ring around the bottom, and then work your way up one row at a time. So get the bottom of the ankle established first, work fast enough so you can still adjust the decal placement if necessary, and then work your way up. So a few more days of this, or actually I could probably get this done in 2 days, but it's not a whole lot of fun at the moment. We're finally done. So yeah, that was, well, here, look. That was a lot of decals. And you know what? I have 7 left. Barely made it. I could actually fit a few more here and there, but hang on. I got decals stuck to me. One errant one there. I could fit a few more because basically what I did, I got the main ones that you can see placed. And then I started working the ones you can't see, and then when I realized I was going to have enough, I started doing ones that are going off the edge, and so sort of cutting them up and putting them in various places, and double checking the pattern from the show, the suit from the show, to make sure I got it right, at least as best as I could. So pretty good, and I barely made it. We have the green one that's also on the hat, right? Oops, there we go, camera, right there. And the white one for the lapel tie pin. Problem is, it's not supposed to be white. It's supposed to be gold, but Moebius went a little cheap on decals and didn't bother paying for the gold ink, which would be more expensive on the decal sheet, so they just did it in white, unfortunately. I'm gonna hopefully, I may try to repaint that with some gold paint, but those microscopic little red gems are going to be difficult to recreate. I really wish I had some stick-on gems to replace those, but those are the size of a pinhead, and I'm pretty sure that don't make them that small. But the next step now is to take care of the silvering, and there is quite a bit. I don't know if it comes up on camera, and I'm trying to find a good example. I know I had a bunch of it, but silvering is what happens when you get air underneath the decals, and it's kind of hard to see, I think, on camera. There's some silvering there because the decal's not pressed all the way down. There's some there around the curves, quite a bit of it. Usually if your paint or your gloss undercoat is smooth, that won't be an issue, but because there's so many decals here, yeah, it did come up as a problem. So we take care of that with the microsol. After letting the decals dry completely, I'm going to leave them overnight because it's really late now. Covering the microsol. Microsol works its way underneath the decal and kind of shrinks it, kind of sucks it down to the surface. So that will help take care of the silvering and the air bubbles. And we'll do a couple coats of this on the problematic decals, let this dry overnight, and then we'll do a couple coats of gloss to really seal those decals in. And then we should be done with this part and we can move on to the face.